Welcome. We especially wanted to talk about captioning today because the landscape has changed some. And it's made it a little more complicated in the sense of not knowing what's available to you. But our central message is we have a lot of resources. The state is realizing this, the district is realizing this, distance education is realizing this. And so there's a lot of help for captioning, and captioning is Paul and me. Oh, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Corrine Haverinen. I'm the Instructional Accessibility Specialist in Distance Education.
I'm Paul DeMartini, Instructional Accessibility Technician with Distance Education.
And he's a brand new employee with us, and we're so excited because we can, help you guys out more now that we have more man hours and everything. So anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot of resources, and we're all aware of the needs, and with everybody going online, and now some people are going back to the classroom, but they've got their stuff online still that they want students to access, particularly captions. And so we've decided, Paul and I, that this is our #1 priority. So we are on the job for you to help you get your captioning done. We do see faculty from time to time take it on themselves, and that's wonderful when you do that, but it can become a workload issue really quickly. And so, our central message is come to us and we can help you understand it all. And today we're going to impart some of the things to understand and some of the resources that are open. And for you folks that just arrived late, I've also put out that interrupt us with questions. We have a small audience today, and we really want to hear what questions you guys might have and issues you might have in the captioning realm. Okay, so I'm going to go and share my screen right now. And with the small screen real estate, I'm going to try and get this thing out of the way. Hopefully it will. There we go. And I have actually worked on this for some years and then never brought it to fruition. And it's an actual Canvas course on video accessibility and captioning. And I'm going to open it and it'll be, you have to enroll in it. It's a Canvas course, but it'll be a self-enrolled kind of thing. So reach out to me with an email because I didn't get a QR code set up and everything. It's a captioning course that you can take. I think it's 3 hours of flex credit we've set it up for. And I'm going to use a lot of the pages in here to lecture from today. And these are the topics that we had planned to talk about. The difference between auto-generated captions and quality handmade captions, which is a huge issue because a lot of faculty find the videos on YouTube, let's say, and it seems to be captioned and they think, good, I'm all done. And we're here to tell you, not quite. And then we're also going to talk about using auto-generated captions for your lectures and how to leverage that and when to use that. How to search for quality captioned videos. We know people that are faculty that are teaching courses, particularly like history and that sort of thing. There's these really well-made videos online, and so you want to put those up in your course. And I know you librarians, you put a lot of videos in your course that you find online. And so we want to show you where to look first. Doesn't mean you only have to look there. And we'll also talk about that if you do find ones that aren't captioned well, how to deal with that. And usually it's coming to us to help you. We want to talk about where and how to order quality captions. Up until recently, you've been able to do that yourself. And this is where there's a big change going on right now because of a change of who's managing the DEC grant. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about where to store your videos, which is really important because I imagine some of you might have noticed that if you're making your Zoom videos and leaving them up there, they are disappearing at some point. And so you want to think about where to store your videos. And it also makes a difference on how we can marry a caption file with your videos, depending on where they're stored. Then if we have time, we're going to talk about navigating the process of Zoom videos. There's a couple settings you want to turn on for captions. We have a tutorial I can show you on how to download those Zoom videos and get them into a better storage option. And then for some of you who want to do captioning yourself, we can talk about that. Normally, I don't recommend faculty do that unless it's a real short video, like a 2-minute video or less. And then when to reach out to us. We're just going to keep saying over and over, reach out to us, because we can solve all your needs, right? Okay. So in this course that I created and am about to launch, I'm going to navigate some of them. And there's some really good things in here to talk about. Oh God, the screen real estate thing is really, excuse me, kind of a problem.
You can, I want to see that.
Yeah, you want to see that? Me too. Let's
I would,
make this smaller. Can you all still read it? Oh, and he's
it's a
in the
little
way.
better.
There's
Yeah.
another screen over there.
Oh,
Can you?
I'll figure it out. But
figure it out?
first off, let's make this small, completely small, so it's not part of this screen.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
You're a little more sophisticated already than me at Zoom.
You will find I am standing in the way of the screen, so that's one thing.
Yeah, they didn't really set up this classroom for co-presenters, did they? I can move over, you can sit back here if you want.
Okay, I think I might do that.
Okay. All right, so the benefits of captioning, and really I'm not going to spend too much time on this. If you just Google why is captioning good or what are the benefits, you'll find a lot of great things. And I linked to a couple of them here, like it's an article on how captioning can boost student performance based on studies or like real studies on this. Here's one on captioning videos can significantly improve comprehension. A professor finds, and maybe I should find something a little more recent, but you know, even back in 2013, they were writing about this. So we all know that captioning helps a lot of people. I personally myself have captioning on all the time. I feel like I'm missing so much if I don't. And it started from having a partner whose English is a second language and wanted the captions on, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, I'm missing so much. You know? So I have them on all the time. And you know, this is just a bulleted list about how it can help all people. English as second language, as I just said. Watching videos in public spaces. You may have students that are taking public transportation and are actually watching your lecture while they're on the bus or something. You know, we take our mobile devices everywhere and we're trying to fit into our busy lives. So people may be watching your videos. They could be in the library and of course don't want to make a noise. So they could be watching there. Multimodal learners. Some people learn better by videos. And some people like me, I see a video and I get mad. It's like, no, I don't have time to watch that. I want to read the transcript. Right. So it's often a good time to also add a transcript. I'm not covering exactly how to do that here, but reach out to us. We can help you with that as well. And there are some platforms where, you know, you've seen in Zoom where we'll give you the searchable transcript on the side, which is really a help to students. Yeah, and I use multiple, I already talked about multiple types of devices. So let me go back a page if I can reach my button. No. So I'm just going to show you a couple of videos here. They're very short and they're kind of interesting. This is a deaf person who has made this video, and unfortunately I don't have the account where I don't have to get the ads, so we're going to be dealing with that. Oh, and they're going to want me to watch women's soccer and they won't let me get rid of that.
Several layers of ads, it seems.
Oh gosh, let's stop him. How do I get rid of this? I'm not seeing. I guess I have to get this out of the way and say no thanks, and then put this. Oh, it stayed out of the way, I guess, but then I'm going to need it later. Gosh, yeah. Remove that. Thank you. Okay. You know, maybe I should. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, so this guy, and let's make this full screen because they're giving us all the side stuff. He's made a video and he uses sign language. And so we have the captions on here. If my Zoom stuff wasn't in the way, you could read the caption as well. And he's talking about this really great quote, and he's making it seem, did I lose my captions? I guess I have to get out of
I would
exit full screen.
I would just start again, because there's a part where
Yeah, I
maybe
think,
look at it that way.
I think I can't go full screen, sorry. All right, and now you can you guys read the captions? Yeah. So he's enticing us with this really great quote that's gonna inspire us and give us goosebumps. And luckily we have the captions and we can see what he's talking about. And now he's gonna do the quote. But he turned the captions off. And he continues in his language, which is American Sign Language. So we're missing the quote. I wanted the goosebumps, but now the captions are back. And he's still teasing us by saying, oh, this quote was from 1799. Well, I bet you wondered what it was. Oh, aren't you glad the captions are back? Did you feel lost and confused? And that's the point of all of this. He's trying to simulate the experience of a deaf person not having captions.
All great points there.
And now he's going to give us the quote. Oh, another quote. And from 1799, they were talking about sign language. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was a really nice video to kind of give you the lay of the land of what it's like for a deaf person. So, and there's another great video here if you're going to take a class about the quality of the captions and how important they are. And we're going to talk about that. But I have a better demonstration, not better, but a different demonstration to show you how auto-generated captions are not good enough. So I'm going to watch this on YouTube.
You found a new hobby.
I'm going to get through
The
the,
info has found itself on the review section.
let's mute it. That's the point. Okay, let's turn on the captions. And so we have auto-generated captions. This is a person who delivers much like a poet. It was actually a poetry jam that he was doing this at. And particularly for poetry, you really need to know when people are pausing, commas are like really important, that sort of thing. And so it's a little bit difficult to follow the narrative of what he's talking about, but also the delivery. Now he's talking about his sister who's deaf. So I'll just give you a couple more moments to try to take this in.
It's like perhaps pausing this at certain points, you'd be able to kind of suss out the phrases and the sentences.
Yeah, the
But as
point
far as
yeah.
for instruction, it's not really good.
Yeah, and it takes longer. It takes more cognitive ability and cognitive, putting out energy cognitively to understand what's going on. So what's really cool about this guy is he gave another version of this very same performance. And we have the sound off. And you see the captions, there's the captions. And these are quality handmade captions. He's delivering this at the White House for the Obamas. So read this and see how much easier it is to understand what he's talking about. Yes, we get the point now, right? So auto-generated captions, if you find your videos on YouTube and you think they're captioned, we're going to show you how to tell whether they're auto-generated or not. But one of the hallmarks of it in YouTube in particular is there's no punctuation, right? Now, auto-generated machines that are making auto-generated captions are getting better all the time. When they first came out, they were totally laughable. I mean, you would see phrases like you've never seen before, and many of them were very funny. And it's gotten better and better and better. I wish YouTube would upgrade theirs. They haven't seemed to upgrade it for a while because there's no punctuation. But has any of you used Canvas Studio before? You can generate auto-generated captions in Canvas Studio. We're going to talk more about that. And there is punctuation. There's less errors than YouTube. And so they're getting pretty good. But even as such, Paul and I, we look at a lot of auto-generated captions. And it is kind of alarming because we'll see the exact opposite meaning being said by the captions than what the instructor intended. So it can be an issue. Let's see. So let me go to my website now. And I think that, well, I guess I have a lot open here. Okay, does everybody know how to get to the Distance Ed website? It's pretty simple from any Santa Rosa Junior College page. If you go to quick links, we're called online education, which is the way students understand us. But our site says distance education, same thing. So we're going to go to for faculty, and there's a whole web accessibility section here. And then there's a whole multimedia accessibility section. And I wanted to go to the page now on finding accessible media. And I still want to talk a little bit about auto-generated captions before we go into where the good sources are to find quality caption videos. And so one of them is going to a Google search. So I have a link here to Google search. You could probably just Google advanced video search. And I'm going to put in kind of my favorite thing to search for, because I never understood my cat, is cat behavior. And then I'm going to come down here and under subtitles, I'm going to do closed captions. Subtitles is a word that really denotes, like when you go to see a foreign film, it's in another language. There's usually burnt in captions in English, let's say, or whatever country you are accessing that from. Closed captions is really what we want, the best. They're not burnt in, and if they're not good, we can overlay them with our captions and they won't be interfered with by the subtitle version. So then I'm going to click advanced search. And what comes up here are videos that supposedly aren't the auto-generated kind. They're the kind that have really good captions, human-made. Now there's this guy, Jackson Galaxy, who I can't remember what channel he's on. I used to watch him now and then. He's an expert on cat behavior. He does not have auto-generated captions, but the quality of his captions are terrible. So I'm going to try and avoid him.
It's the first knack against Jackson Galaxy I've ever encountered. This. He knows what he's doing.
He's a good guy, but whoever's doing his captions needs to spend some more time on it. So I'm going to the Purina, and I guess I'm going to accept their cookies. And there's a video on here. Oh, they want me to sign up. And it's on YouTube. So let's just, anytime you get to a page and they have embedded a YouTube video, you can click on that. And now you're in YouTube. So I still have my sound down so I can talk, but we can see the captions already. I see capitalization, I see punctuation. If we click on the CC, turn it off, and then turn it back on really quickly, you can see it just says English. If it was auto-generated, it would say English auto-generated. If it was Chinese auto-generated, it would say Chinese auto-generated, have you. So this is a high quality caption video. And I've watched it a little bit and I've concurred. Yes, these are quality captions. Like I said, though, with that guy, Jackson, sometimes he points out that sometimes it could be called quality captions, but somebody's been really sloppy when they do it. Most of the time when I see that they're labeled as quality captions in YouTube, the actual quality of them is very good because somebody's gone to the point, and why do it, halfway. So anyway, so now it used to be that you could be in YouTube, and let's do that same search. And I have to change my web page because I said, do this, put CC after that. And then your results will all be the quality kind. Well, that doesn't work anymore. And what happens is once you put in a search, it's supposed to come up here. Maybe I have to hit return. This worked on my computer. Filters. So we can hit the filters, and in the features, we can say, let's do subtitles. Okay. And then it put all the ads at the top now. It drives me crazy. So all of these with a CC now means that they've been labeled in YouTube as quality captions. But we're going to skip Jackson and go to my favorite video. This one is from TED Ed. And we have to watch the ad first. Sorry, I got to get an account so we don't have to do this. And now when I click on the CC, we're going to see it just says English. And it is really high quality captions, right? So that's another way. Now, if I had just done the basic search, I spelled it wrong. That could have been a problem. I don't think I've shown you one without quality captions now. And I think this is not Jackson, right? I think this might be one. So when I click on the CC, look in that left corner, see how it says auto-generated. Okay, so that's, and now we look and we see no capitalization, no punctuation. It gets a little bit harder when you're in Canvas Studio because they do have the punctuation. So then, if you're in Canvas Studio looking, you'll have to look longer. But at least here it's easy to determine, even though I wish they would up their, their machine so that it does put in punctuation.
A good way to check if you find a video you want to use and there just aren't good captions readily available, you can always click on the gear icon next to here, which will bring up a menu with these other options. And sometimes there's multiple English subtitles if someone's done it twice. So the first one might be not that great, but then you find the second one actually works. So that's something to always check on. If you have a video you like and it doesn't seem to be captioned well, like right off the bat.
Right. And we have a comment that somebody has used Canvas Studio in their French courses, and the transcript of French videos are pretty accurate. Wow. Well, that's a good testimony right there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's auto caption. So I mentioned that we were going to talk about leveraging auto captions. So let's say you're doing a lecture in Zoom. It is a good idea to turn on auto captions, or let's say you've put a video into Canvas Studio, and I'll show this to you. Maybe I should show it to you now. That you can go into your Canvas Studio, which is right here. It's built into Canvas. It's an add-on. We pay for it, and we've just upped the subscription, all you Canvas Studio people, for at least 2 years. I don't think Canvas Studio is going away. It's just too valuable. So it's right there handy to you, right there in Canvas. And so you can upload your video. You just click the add button up here. It has to process. I should have put in a video that didn't have any, maybe this one, didn't have any captions already. And we can go to the captions and we can request them. We try to show the request button right there.
Yeah.
You request them, and what happens is, this is tied into your Canvas account. So it has your email address, it knows how to find you, and it will send you a caption file. No, it will send you a notice that the captions have been there. It doesn't send you a caption file. The captions just appear. And once you get the email, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Once you get the email, you'll have the option to edit and publish. So then you can edit them if you want. And normally you would want to do that. And again, that would be something for a short video. But let's say, you just got this lecture done. You want to get it up to your course. You want your students to start looking at it. You do want to add quality captions, but that's not going to happen for, 4 days or 5 days. I say turn on the auto-generated captions in a pinch, with the caveat that if you have a lot of terminology in your course and you think those auto-generated captions might not be good, why don't you check them out and make sure that it's not going to steer your students in the wrong direction. And then maybe you just fix those couple of things. I have heard of DRD students who are hard of hearing as opposed to deaf. I think a deaf person just really needs the really quality captions no matter what. But a hard of hearing student might get by with auto-generated captions. So it's not a bad idea to turn them on with the caveat that you're going to check and make sure it doesn't steer anybody the wrong direction, right? Okay, so that's Canvas Studio. Yes, yeah.
How long does that typically take when you press that request button?
I would say within, it depends on the length of the video, but I would say within 20 minutes, maybe less.
Let's
You know,
test that out because this one isn't captioned. This was our content, and so we're gonna request it and we'll see.
you have to say
And
what
so when you do
language.
so, it'll let you know 85% accuracy, which is actually pretty darn good. English request. And then when these come back, you see on the right here, it says processing.
Mhm.
It'll say ready or published or something like that. And then when you click on them, it'll bring you into the editor, but we'll get there. We'll check this out in a minute.
Okay,
And can you caption them in a different language? You can choose something other than English?
yes, but you have to know that language, you know, if they're being accurate.
True, but it might be at least something for a Spanish speaker, for instance, to be able to see my demo in
Oh, yeah.
their own language,
Yeah,
something
and-
closer to their own language.
And we just had that person in the chat who said that the French worked really well.
Yeah.
So I believe you can request them
Mhm.
in multiple languages.
Okay.
I haven't tested it out.
So-
I didn't know that Studio
Is
had
it
this.
translating for you, or is it, do you have to speak in that language for it to caption in that language?
Oh, that's a good question.
If we
I
were
think
to,
it's translating, because
if
there is
we-
a translate function in there too.
yeah.
Yeah,
So the request button is just to request auto-generated.
auto-generated captions.
It's
Yeah.
not like, is it to request officially?
Human made, yeah,
generated.
and we're gonna talk about that. The
Yeah.
place to do that, right, okay. So, if we get yet another, you have to speak the language. This is
Okay,
at least who
okay.
has done this. You have to.
So the
speak
lectures
language.
were in French.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. I saw somewhere, I thought it was in here, there was a translate function, but, you know, and that again is a machine, so I even more so than auto-generated captions, I would have suspicion of auto-generated translation, right?
So this is the first time that this has failed.
Good
Good timing there.
Oh,
Done this like. all
I've
along.
never seen that, literally.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe we were just. too
maybe there's
bubble
no,
mouthed.
maybe there's no audio. I don't remember what this video is. I was just looking for
It's
something that
to do
didn't.
with Standing right there talking to a class and it will always fail.
Maybe. Well, you've seen that. You've had technical difficulties when you're presenting. Well, this isn't the way it worked on my computer. You know?
Just trust us, it works well, and it's pretty quickly and gives you good quality captions.
Yeah, this was a one-off thing where we were just testing out something. So it's probably due to that. I've literally never seen a failure notice before. So it's probably our video. If we went back to,
Yeah, let's-
yeah, like here's one that I did. It's a short video. It's only a minute long. I ordered the auto-generated captions, so they are already here. Let me see. You can edit them. And here they are. So here's the editing functionality. And this has changed recently. It used to be under the video, which was really annoying. Now it's to the side. People are nodding. People have been doing this. That's great. 2-minute videos, I would say just do it yourself. It might take less time than contacting me, getting back to you, asking you a bunch of questions and all of that, you know. But
And you'll be more aware of that than anyone else of the type of terminology that's specific to your discipline that, you know, these algorithms won't be that great with. And including, in addition to terminology, like author names are the kind of thing that
Mhm.
screws up if you're referencing a text.
and here's a little tip. If you send me a video of a cat, I'll probably do it right away. This one got done right away. Yeah, because I love the cats. Okay, all right, so let's go back to that page that I was on our website called Finding Accessible Media. And we have a librarian right here in the audience, so I'm going to put her on the spot, but no, it's okay, Laura. Yes?
Is it easy to also edit the videos from Zoom? Because I
You
already-
can edit in Zoom. Okay, here's the caveat there. So, and we're going to talk about Zoom. That was later in the presentation. So you can turn auto-generated captions on and it'll make more errors than any of the other auto-generated ones. And it'll put too much text on one caption screen. Very hard to read and also see your video. So if you're going to get quality captions at some point, do not waste your time correcting those Zoom created auto captions. That's just there for a pinch, right? Don't use them, don't edit them. You know, other methods are so much better. When we get Zoom videos and we have access to the transcript, the auto-generated caption file that comes from Zoom, we throw it away. We don't work with it. It's too much work. So don't spend your time. That's a good question. Working on those captions inside of Zoom, please. Okay, we're getting more chat
So-
questions.
The videos that I'm going to edit on Canvas Studio,
Mhm.
am I going to record them in what?
Oh, so if you have lectures in Zoom already that you'd like captioned, or you will be planning on recording more in Zoom, you would then have to download that video file to your desktop or whatever, and then upload it into Canvas Studio,
Okay.
where you could then request the auto-generated captions that we failed to get once, but it's a good way to do it there.
So Alice has made a good comment, Alice Hampton in the chat. She said, I love using Canvas Studio and I find the auto captions quick and pretty accurate. It takes a while to edit long videos, so I keep them short. It doesn't do well with discipline specific terms, use the acronym DRDP a lot, and has a different interpretation for each instance. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. Oh, I think there was another one. Technical terms and software titles names are typically wrong in auto captions too. Thank you, Robert. That's a good comment as well. Yeah, so those are the things to look for when you turn on your auto generated captions before you can get quality ones. Go look for those type of things.
Could I actually return to what we were discussing?
Oh.
So Canvas Studio now has a way to record your lectures in Studio as well. So we
Yeah.
found that more instructors are doing that, especially with shorter lectures. The editing capabilities are pretty decent in there, and like we said, the ability to get decent auto captions quickly is there too.
Revit equals
So
Revit.
you're like linking a camera directly into Canvas Studio?
Yeah,
I-
Studio has the way, Studio has the ability, it will connect to your
The camera in your
should have
computer, or your
this, yeah.
laptop, or whatever you're using. Yeah, most of us have a camera now, right?
the same way Zoom does, and you kind of have to set it to
I need
correct
a
to.
better camera than that. Like I do hands-on demos in the classroom
Mhm.
and it would save me time if I could be recording them directly into Canvas Studio
Yeah,
and not have to then upload it to the computer and then
Sure.
upload it to Canvas.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
I'm actually gonna look for a demo of this because we've done it. We didn't include it as part of this presentation, but I'll put it in the chat if I find a good demo because
I was gonna say also, like, media has some checkout document cameras that you can actually sort of semi-permanently check out. To do like demonstrations, things like
I
that.
have an iPad that's set up to
iPad.
screencast to my big screen,
Mhm.
but if I could also be recording, that would be even better.
yeah,
When if you want to use one of those cameras, that's the person to talk to, Matt Pearson. in essence, yes.
I was gonna get that, or if your iPad, you could use, log into the Zoom and record with that too.
Uh-huh.
But happy to talk through those ideas with you.
So, Linda, this is very interesting. Linda Schoen says that she used a recording app named ScreenPal, which was formerly Screencast-O-Matic. I did not know that they had rebranded or got bought or whatever. Did you know that, Matt? Yeah, it looks almost identical to Studio. So a lot of people, I mean, our department DE, we have, in recommending to faculty the best tool to capture your screen type of recording, we have recommended Screencast-O-Matic for years, and it has its own built-in auto-generated captions, I believe, and an editor that you can fix them. So yeah, so these are good. If you like to use that, that's perfectly fine. If you're using another platform other than the ones that I was going to get to later in my lecture that are the best places to create your videos, just make sure, because we've seen platforms like Loom, which used to be bad, but I think they're better now. You want to make sure if you're using one of these other tools that you can either upload a caption file or edit an auto-created caption file within the program. Because we have seen tools where you can't do that. And basically, when we're helping you, we have to somehow get that video out of there, put it somewhere else to caption it. So, and she had a question here, I think. I'm transitioning to recording in the studio, but should I use the captions in ScreenPal and then upload them to Studio or wait to caption after they've been uploaded? That's a good question. It depends on the quality of the captions you got out of ScreenPal. So if you're got pretty good auto-generated caption in ScreenPal, or you have edited them, then of course you would use them over just a pure auto-generated file from Canvas Studio. But I really don't know the auto-generation engine inside ScreenPal, so I can't compare them myself. I'll just say that the one in Canvas Studio is one of the best that I've seen. It's really pretty good. So, you know, it's whatever you think is the best. Document cameras at instructor stations can do that. That's what we were talking about earlier, right? Somebody else uses Camtasia. Well, Camtasia is a really deluxe pro application. So if you're using that, you've got something really high quality. Okay, so moving on. So we were wanting to talk about streaming databases. The library is in charge of this, of subscriptions to streaming databases. And they have a couple. They have Films on Demand, which we've had for a number of years, and it's a full subscription. So anything you find on Films on Demand, you can use, and they're going to be quality captions. So that would be the first place. And
Yeah.
I want to
Absolutely everything I've encountered on Films on Demand is captioned, like completely.
let's go to the library site. And let's do a search. What were we going to search for? I forget. We were gonna search for-
Tony Moore.
Oh, Toni Morrison. So we're just putting in the smart search a term. And what comes up on the left-hand side is resource type. We want to expand that. And we're looking for a video, right? So we're choosing videos. And it's the first one is available in Doyle Library. You'd speak to a librarian about that if you wanted to use that one. This one, it says available online. I'm going to click that one. And it says, look, it's on Films on Demand. So when a title is in Films on Demand, which means it's totally available to use in your class, it will come up in a library search. So this is really valuable. And you could click on that and even watch the video. And what's really cool about this is not only does it have the captions, I'm going to turn this on for a second, but it has the searchable transcript along the side, which is really valuable.
Talks with award-winning author Toni Morrison about her highly acclaimed novel, Beloved.
So there we go. Super high quality.
As one of America's.
And as much as I'd like to watch this video right now,
Right.
it's not bad. Toni Morrison's great. And I love that you can actually search a term and it's going to take you right to the place in the video and the transcript where that term is. So this is really, really good. And so I've had some faculty ask for this. What was the department? Was it fashion or she was doing that fashion history course, remember the
Yeah.
and she wanted this feature. So that's a feature we could get for you for a video that we caption through our service, which is, they used to be called AST and now they're called Verbit. And they have a smart player. We can only access that smart player when we caption the video ourselves through their service. But once we do, we can offer you this type of presentation with the searchable transcript along the side.
It was specifically useful in her scenario, in that instructor scenario, because her lectures, she was lecturing over PowerPoints and she had images and content 100% of the screen. So if she had a caption line on the bottom, it would get in the way of her actual content and stuff she wanted to present.
Mhm.
So the way we're able to use the smart player is, yeah, it would play it here. So if 100% of the screen was being used, you'd see everything. It would actually place the caption below it. And then on the right, you'd also have the transcript. So
Right, right. And we did have another faculty who complained, who was showing coding. And so his screen was a bunch of code and the captions would go over the code. So that's one way to get around it too, that their solution put the captions, because normally we can't control that, but in that smart player, it comes below, which is great. All right, so that's the library search. Let's go back.
I should add that films on demand are pretty easy to embed in a page as well. It's not the same way it works with YouTube, but it ends up being visually pretty similar and
Yeah,
aesthetically nice.
we do have a question or comment. You can see your messages recording on sweet. I think that's just a Zoom
Thanks, Jen.
message to me. Thanks, Jen. Okay, yeah, so there is this handy dandy request form that I linked to here. I imagine it's on the library site somewhere, but I'm not a special expert on the library site. So if I click on that, Loretta, do you know, is this still?
Yeah, because like we do have to request for certain things that are not available through us and cannot be always, and then it's a budget consideration too.
Yeah, so we were talking about streaming services. So Films on Demand is great. We get everything. Canopy, we used to have a full subscription to them, but their pricing model, we couldn't deal with it. They charge you for every click you made on a video. But they still have great content that Films on Demand might not have. So you can go to the Canopy and browse, and you can find a video. And so what they do is they purchase titles. And they'll get it for, I don't know, is it a year or so, where they'll purchase the streaming rights to a title. And I imagine the more faculty that want to use a particular title, the more likely that they will pay for that request. But here's the way to request it. The part that confused me is, why is Films on Demand here? Would you need to put in a request for a Films on Demand video if we get them all? So I'm not sure
Maybe if
about
it's
that.
something you think Films on Demand should have in their database and they don't already.
Yeah. Well, there's an other choice here. And then there's Swank, and I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Swank. It's
They have some stuff on there. Yeah, it's not as, it's just a little bit different.
a little bit
You can
different.
just
No
check the
videos to look
level,
for.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. And so maybe you don't find it in the streaming service. If you do find a full-length video in the library, then you want to talk to a library person. I do have a link to find a library liaison to speak to, and they're sorted by specialists per department or topic, I guess. Because I think they can best, them and media services together, they work together to help instructors put full-length videos in a streaming way. If the library owns it, we have to follow certain guidelines. And if the library doesn't own it, we have to follow certain guidelines. So talk to a librarian if you want to use a full-length video like that. And we're talking about commercially produced full-length videos. Okay, and then down here I have a bunch of sites you might want to go to next. Of course, Khan Academy is great. And it used to be 100% of Khan Academy sites are captioned well. I found a few lately that weren't, so I don't know what's up with that. PBS is great, except their stuff comes and goes. As far you put a link to a PBS video in your course, always go back before the semester starts and check and see if it's still there, because they give it and then they take it away. So that's the problem with them. TED is great. There's two flavors of TED. There's TED Talks and TEDx. TED Talks are all 100% captioned. TEDx is more of a local thing, and they end up on YouTube, and some of them are quality captions and some aren't. And then there's these others that you can go to that tend to have educational videos. Now, I think we mentioned Amara. Did we mention Amara yet? Amara is a really great site. I think I have it open here. It's a crowdsourcing site. And so, and we've done a lot of this ourselves. So let's say you found a video on YouTube and it's not captioned well, and you're saying, can I use that? And we're saying, yes, we can get it captioned. We'll use a site like Amara, which what it does is it takes the embed code from the YouTube video, puts it in their interface, and then allows us to overlay a caption on top of that. So if I was to play this video, these captions come from Amara. the auto-generated ones, I'd have to turn this one off. I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, well, they're coming behind it. You can see the auto-generated ones that were on YouTube. We want that off, and you're going to play the ones that we've created here or somebody else has created here that are quality captions. There's a whole editor in here. You can use this to upload auto-generated files and fix them if you wanted to. But what the best thing about it is it's crowdsourcing. So you'll want to come here maybe if you find something on YouTube. And it used to be, it would just be occasionally I would find what I'm looking for here. Now it's about 1 out of 8 times I'll come here and I'll find the video. So that's pretty good.
And a lot of shorter clips, the kind of stuff we see recurring in courses that instructors are using. Amara is a good resource, and a lot of people like us are probably porting stuff over, getting them captioned here. And yeah, YouTube used to have the capability, if you owned a video, you could turn on some feature that would allow anyone who wanted to caption it and upload a file. But that's no longer the case. Only the content owner of YouTube video can caption it in YouTube. So yeah, that's why we use Amara. It
was based on getting permission from the person to have them turn on this contribution thing, which 99% of the people didn't do. So it wasn't very useful anyways. Know that if you find your caption video here, you can't embed it in the page. It does have a little embed thing here, but it doesn't work because you have to have JavaScript. You have to put JavaScript in your page, which we just can't do in Canvas. So what you do is, let's say you had this YouTube video, you have it embedded in your page, or maybe even directly in the modules, and you would grab this, you would just copy this URL, and you would go and add it to your page where you have the other embedded video, and I just call the link, the clickable part of the link, I would call it better captioned version of, and I would name the title of the video. So that's the way you work with this. So that's really good. All of this. Do you have another chat person?
Yeah, Hiroshi asks, could you explain what is the difference between public workspace and a team workspace in Amara?
Okay, so Amara, it used to be cut and dried. You could go in there and just work. And now the public workspace is for people who aren't paying. And that's another thing I meant to say. I used to like it that you didn't have to have an account here. I could just zoom to the bottom of this and go to browse. Well, they've turned that off. So now just to browse, you have to have an account. An account is free. You can get a free account. And that allows you to browse through everything. The team workspace is people who pay a little, or maybe you've been invited in to help work on something together. So that's not really applying to us here. You're working in the public workspace. That's what you're doing here.
So if you were to link one of these videos, your students would have to have an account as well.
No. You put this link anywhere, click on it, it'll work. What you need the account for is to just even browse to see what videos are in there, or to get to the interface and actually, edit subtitles if you want to. Well, they call it subtitles, but you can actually come in here and they have an interface for editing. It's right in here. It's pretty deluxe too. I like it. It's a real good interface. So they don't want to give that away to people who won't at least give them their email, right? I don't know. Maybe it helps them in their data collection or that kind of thing, but it doesn't cost anything, right? So
I'll just take a moment since we're looking at the chat. I'm going to post a link to a guide for recording videos in Canvas Studio that I found through a Canvas site. So yeah, that will be in the chat.
And I'll bet Lauren Nahas, our instructional designer, I'm sure she has a link to, I know she's got stuff in there about working with Canvas Studio, like doing your own recordings. I'm sure she's all over that. Okay. All right, so let's see, next topic. Okay, this is the central thing that we want to talk about today, and that is ordering videos, captions yourself. And so I'm going to go to 3C Media. And let me also go to our website. We have a page on 3C Media. And I still call it 3C Media because you know what? That's what they call it. Have they changed it? Maybe they did finally change it. They are rebranding themselves as TechConnect Cloud.
And yet the URL is still 3C.
3C Media. So it's so easy to just keep calling it 3C Media. This is provided to us by the State Chancellor's Office for all of the CCCs of California. And it's a place to store your videos. It is one of the best places to store your videos because you can order captions yourself, or let's say you could until recently. This is where the latest, greatest information you're going to get from us today is. So let's say I have and I also wanted to go to that page here, because if you do not have an account with them and you want to get an account, it's easy to register. It is a two-part process. I hate this too. You register and literally a machine has answered you and have given you an account, but you can't do anything with it yet until you request permission to upload media. And there's a special page I linked to here. And if you went to the TechConnect support things, you would see that readily too. So it's a two-part process. You register to get an account, which is almost immediate. But then to request permission to upload media, it might take 48 hours, right? So if you don't have a 3C account, know that you've got that to negotiate up front. And then I've got more on here about uploading media, but this is the central message I want to give you right now. Starting June 30th, 2023, the feature to order your own quality-made captions or auto-generated caption has gone away. So what has happened is 3C Media and the DEC grant. Okay, 3C Media is TechConnect. And they were overseen by Palomar College because they had won the grant to that, right? Mm-hmm. So they were in charge of that. The DEC grant, which is distance education,
Captioning
and transcript, again, given to us by the state, it pays for captioning. And we utilize that all the time. And a lot of you faculty were too. You would go into a media. I'm going to go into media now. And I'm going to find something that was not captioned before, which I know is in here. I'm going to go to details and options. And there would a link to order your own captions. Okay. And this is a wonderful thing. But I need to step back a couple moments because they've confused us for a long time now. Because somewhere in the middle of the pandemic, you used to be able to go in and order the captions this way, and you would get human-made quality captions. And we kept telling faculty over and over, please use this feature. This is why you should store your videos in 3C. You have this option to order these captions. And then somewhere along the line, without much messaging, they took that away and replaced it with the auto-generated captions. So you could still order the captions. And if you had been doing this for a while, you went in and did it the same way, and you were expecting these high quality captions, and then maybe you didn't look at them. And what they became was auto-generated captions. And there was a drop down so that you could choose human created captions, but the default was auto-generated. And then what's happened most recently, starting on June 30th, the school that, and this, when ordering captions through here was being funded by the DEC grant that I just mentioned. And that used to be managed by College of the Canyons, but either they didn't apply for the grant or they didn't get it going forward. When these schools apply for these grants, it's not open-ended. It ends in 3 or 4 years or 5 years or something. And so it's no longer going to be with College of the Canyons. It's going to be with Palomar, who also deals with TechConnect. So maybe that's good because it'll be the same school dealing with both. But the upshot is they have to go through this whole process with the vendors. There's 3 vendors that are, at least previously, were approved to be the vendors of choice to work with if you wanted to have the DEC grant work for you. And now they're going through the whole RFP process. All these vendors have to reapply, and it goes through a whole process. So we're thinking mid-October at the earliest, this is gonna come back. Because it was one of the vendors that actually did the captioning. It's paid for by the debt grant, but it was a vendor doing the work, right? It's not somebody behind the screen at one of these colleges doing the work. They're doing a lot of other work, but they're not actually doing the captioning. So this is not available to us right now. So the upshot is come to us and we have our own resources that we can order those captions for you. But keep your eyes peeled. We will make a big noise when this comes back because we like faculty to be able to do this themselves. And the cool thing about it is, let's say you chose 3C Media as the place to store your videos. And you upload your videos there, you go in and it's a form that you fill out and it's fairly simple. It just asks for, what does it ask for? It asks for the section number, the length of the video and the term that it's taught in. Pretty simple, right? You fill in that, gotta know to pick the download menu to choose the quality captions, right? And then when they were done, they would just appear. So you could put your video up in 3C, embed it in your Canvas course. There's no captions there right now, but you order captions and then within 5 days, they would just appear and your work is over and the captions would come in.
While we're talking about how nice this feature is when we have access to it, I'll mention that your videos that you upload into 3C are the ones you can submit for captioning through 3C. If it's just YouTube videos that you're linking through your 3C, you can't get those captioned through. this
Yeah, so
process.
if you were
So
uploading, okay, when you go to the upload, you want to add a video, you can choose to upload the video itself. That means it's on your hard drive and you're going to put it up. You can also choose to put in a YouTube link here. And the video will appear in there. It won't cross copyright. It's doing the same thing Amara is doing. It's embedding the video in the page. If the video went away in YouTube, it would go away in Amara. It would go away in 3C. But the problem with this is you can't order captions ever. Even if we had them back, you can't order captions for that YouTube video instance in 3C. We had a question here.
Yeah, so are we talking about videos that you may record of yourself lecturing through Studio? Or would this just be your recording on your computer? Because it sounds like Studio also does the captioning.
Studio does the captioning, and somebody asked that earlier. You can't order quality handmade captions in Studio, so it's a conundrum. But you know what?
But you can edit your own.
Behind the scenes, I don't know if I can't really announce this officially, but they're working on it. They're working on it. I think at some point we're going to have that functionality. We don't right now. So it's a conundrum. If you want to use Canvas Studio to create your videos or even just store them, reach out to us to get the captions right now. When this ability comes back to order captions and you don't want to go through us, you can also upload that video to 3C Media and order your caption file there and then download the caption file and bring it into Canvas Studio.
Yeah.
So I haven't used Canvas Studio. I'm assuming it'll record, you can record your video, but can you store it there? Or are you suggesting that the workflow is to record it there and store it here?
You can store it in Canvas Studio. The only reason, if you're using Canvas Studio, to put it in 3C was to order those captions. 3C does offer other things. You can make a playlist. I think actually you can do that in Studio too. Yeah.
Add, the Canvas Studio, you're really gonna have to, build a course out for that within Canvas for people to see the content.
Right.
If you're not using Canvas as your delivery method, then you could use, as an adjunct 3C Media to deliver it through other means.
Yeah.
And that just plays on Amazon Web Services, which honestly, Canvas is on Amazon Web Services too.
Yeah.
But that is a way that you could distribute a course or just store something for content outside of it. There's no end date in sight for 3C Media. The state doesn't have any plan to change that. The Canvas, we were concerned about Canvas Studio not having a long-term subscription, but we found out literally 3 weeks ago that the state has renewed that through June 2028.
Yeah.
2028. Yeah, we have it for a long time now. Yeah. Well, if somebody who out there listening or future listeners who don't use Canvas to deliver their courses, I wouldn't use Canvas Studio. Like Matt points out, Canvas Studio is meant to be used in Canvas. So I would
mention too, that if you have some size or limitations in 3C media, I have some ways around that. So right now, I think it limits people to 2 GB file uploads. If you need to go beyond that, I know how to defeat that mechanism, but talk to me about that.
Okay, so I don't know if the people at home can hear Matt. He's kind of far from the our microphone here, but there is a size limitation in 3C media of 2 GB files. So if your files are bigger, contact Matt. He has a way to get around that. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I was showing 3C media and I'm requesting captions through there. Oh, I also wanted to mention if you are teaching a course that's, let's say, a STEM course or other type of course that has a lot of terminology that could get wrong really easily by captioners, even human captioners, if they don't know that subject matter, they could get it wrong. One of the service that we have a subscription through, we have a bunch of money in there right now, is Verbit. And they've told us that they have a STEM captioner. So we can request that a STEM captioner be the person that is the captioner that's actually going to do the work on that file. And these people are pretty forward thinking. I hope they're going to get in the DEC grant when the vendors are approved, but I'm sure all the companies are doing this now. We've all heard of AI, right? And we're all scared of it for various reasons, but there's some very good things about it. And I was talking to the Verbit rep the other day, and I had been talking with her about a particular department and a particular faculty who was really, we've had a couple faculty actually who were really worried about ordering captions for their courses because it's so terminology heavy. And they felt like no captions is better than captions because it could be so wrong. And I understand that. And I was talking to her about that. And she said, well, you know what? We now have an AI software or whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it, application or whatever that they're developing. And you know why AI is what you, its effectiveness is based on teaching the software, whatever it is, to understand, to take in all of this information, and then you get a better outcome. And that's what they're in the process of doing. So we actually sent over some videos for them to put into their machine to start training it, particularly in this one department area where they were really concerned about that. So that's really kind of an exciting thing. Like I said, auto-generated captions have gotten better. Well, I think captioning is getting better because the technology is getting better. And once these companies start utilizing AI and start training them, we're going to probably have less errors. We're probably going to have a higher success rate. I think, I don't know what these caption services, do you remember what number they give us? 98% or whatever accuracy. It's just going to get better and better. So
kind of continue on from what Corrine is saying. If you have a course in a discipline that has a lot of terms that are really specific to that, not kind of everyday terminology, but it's not captioned, let us know. We can get it captioned and we can make sure the terminology is there. Won't confuse your students. And I don't know, those courses in some ways, while they're the most difficult to caption, like those are the ones that really need the captions, especially with words you're not going to encounter elsewhere.
one other thing as we're talking about that we can do the ordering for you, this is what we need from you. Let's say you have some videos you want captions for. You can, one is the option, send us a list of your videos with links. Let's say you have them in 3C. Let's say you have them in YouTube. Either of those work well. We could just upload those to our captioning service. If they're not in 3C or YouTube, if they're in Canvas Studio, let us know. Let us know where you're storing them. If they're in like Screencast-O-Matic, which I don't know what's it called, ScreenPal now or whatever, we're going to need to get the actual file downloaded. So we would converse with you about that. If it's in your course, give us permission to access your course. We don't go into anybody's course without permission. But if you give us permission to access your course, it's less work for you. We just go in and find it, you know. But you tell us every video in there are only these ones, you know, and we'll go in and find it and we'll figure out a way to download. We have our means and we'll find out a way to download it and then we can deal with it. If you have your videos in a 3C media account, TechConnect Cloud account, you know, you can give us the links to that, and then we can get the caption file and send it back to you, and you can marry the caption file with the video. If you want to give us your login to your 3C account, we'll go in and do that for you. You know, so we aim to please, but it's all based on the amount of access that we can get for that, right? Okay, let's see what's in the chat now. Do you know any auto caption software or website for non-native speakers? You know, I'd have to research that. I don't know. Non-native English speaker. No, I'd have to research that. I'm sorry, don't know that one. I'll look into it. Okay, so any other questions in the room?
I mean, Studio does Spanish and a couple other French and a few other languages, Italian. That's like 7 or 8 languages it does now.
My guess is that he's specifically saying someone who has an accent
Right.
and is speaking English, but with an accent.
Yeah, which is where you want one of those softwares that can learn
Your
Your-
way of speaking.
Yeah, yeah. So what is that? There is
It is
something.
a really good question because we've encountered accents sometimes, even in English. Someone speaking English with an accent can mess up the auto captions. Like, so yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
that can
if
be
you have an accent, it could be a
troublesome.
problem. There is software called Dragon Naturally Speaking, where that's one of those softwares that you train. It's kind of expensive. I'm not sure if we have a license. I know we have a disabled faculty who uses it. But there's software like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Storage choices. We've kind of covered that. I think I have a screen on that. Where to store your videos. So we discussed 3C Media, Canvas Studio, YouTube, or Canvas. So, you know, and that's one of the things we're going to ask you if you want us to help you caption. Where do you want to store your videos? And one thing I should step back from, because I worked with someone who was pretty knowledgeable in the video field for a while, and I didn't realize that this person didn't understand that captions are a separate file. They can live on their own as a caption file. You can download it out of 3C Media. You can download it out of all of these places as a separate file. It's a text file. And when you get captions, then you can move those files, like we're talking about working in Amara or you know, one of these, or even in 3C, and you get a caption, you can move it out. And or I'll go to YouTube. YouTube has a video that has auto-generated captions, and I want to start from those auto-generated captions. I can download that caption file. I use a site online called downsub.com. And so that's a file that you download, and then you marry it with your video, depending on where you have stored your video. But any good platform for storing your video will give you the option to upload a caption file and marry it with the video, just so that you understand that that's what's going on behind the scenes. Were you going to say something, Matt? Oh, he's just looking at me. Okay. So these are the places, our best options that we think for you to store your videos. 3C Media, we talked about, Canvas Studio. I believe Canvas Studio does not have a limit, or 3C Media, on how much video you can put up. YouTube, I don't know if they have a limit, but it would be very large if they did. We see a lot of faculty using Canvas because, oh my God, it's right there. It's so easy. They upload their video there. It's not a bad choice. You can marry captions with your video there, but you don't get any interface for editing them. And there's a storage limit. So video files, as you know, can be very large. So if you reach that storage limit, all is not lost. You can request more space, but what a hassle. Why not put them someplace where you don't have to worry about that?
It can also cause problems with like the upload itself. Sometimes it'll fail, but it won't tell you when you're directly uploading it as a media file into a Canvas page.
I think there's a size limit too in Canvas. You know that one, Matt, what the size limit in Canvas is for?
Well, by default, we have a size limit set on how much storage is in each course. We
Right.
can change that.
Mhm.
Our license with Canvas gives us an average amount of storage for every course that we have.
And I think it's a gigabyte, isn't it, for a course?
5.
It's
Is it
5,
five?
but we can
He's
oftentimes
font
up
of
to
knowledge.
10 or 15 for some people. So
Yeah,
it just depends on the course and the person, you know,
Right.
and it just, there's this, and there's a lot of instructors that don't use it. Or don't use it to its full ability, so that offsets the ones that we increase storage on for.
how about the Canvas Cloud Record feature? Canvas Cloud Record feature.
So in Canvas, you have the option of recording to the cloud, and and I like it because it's automatic. So as soon as I am done with my lecture, sign out, it just takes that video of the session and loads it right into the cloud recording. The students have access to it. I just post the link in my modules.
Zoom
You're talking about
recording?
Zoom.
Yeah, this is Zoom. Isn't this living in Zoom? The link is to Zoom, right?
You're right. It actually, yeah, in Zoom, I should say, yeah, Zoom.
What that's doing is just creating a link for you easier rather than going into your Zoom interface.
They're more than that, the state is working on a level, and it may have been turned on, I don't think it has yet. Where coming soon is that your Zoom recordings can be automatically imported into your Canvas course.
That's cool.
And so it'll just move from Zoom storage to Canvas storage, which is cheaper for the state, paying for that subscription. So that's in the roadmap.
Okay, did everybody at home hear that? Matt's a little bit far away from our owl, but it seems like our owl's pretty good. Did you all hear that?
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Great, okay.
Did, was there another question out here?
Well, I was curious about I didn't realize there was a difference between having a video uploaded directly to Canvas versus Canvas Studio. But you're saying that if I have videos in Canvas Studio, that doesn't count towards my storage in that particular Canvas class.
Right.
Correct, yeah, yeah.
So the typical way someone would add a video,
Years ago, apparently.
like, well, this,
No.
just like, I don't know. Some folks will just go to a media upload, upload a video here, it'll paste directly in the page.
Mhm.
And like we mentioned, your functionality as far as, you can add captions to it. But all the kind of other features that are in Studio aren't really accessible here.
Mhm.
Cool, never mind.
Okay, so that's storage. We were gonna talk about Zoom next, so I guess we can. Let's see, there's a couple of settings, and this was the Dale on me earlier today. There's a couple of settings in Zoom. So I'm logged into my Zoom. Does everybody know how to do that? Log into their Zoom. If you don't, from the website, JC website, go into login Zoom, right? Use your Outlook login and you get to this page, right? And this is where you can set your settings. So if you go to settings on the left navigation here, then you'll see navigation across the semi-top, not the very top. And if we're in meeting and we wanted to go to advanced meeting, of course it looks different here though. I was just looking at, it was supposed to be advanced meeting. I think it's because I have less screen real estate. It's not showing me everything, but there is a setting in here. Now I got it's just super long.
Yeah, it's not the greatest interface for
It goes on.
settings and options, as I'm sure you're all.
Watermark. Chat. Breakout rooms.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to go, forget it. I'm not dealing with this. You at home will not have this, screen real estate problem. You'll go to
There we go.
advanced meetings.
In meeting advanced.
In
that's where you
meeting
want it.
advanced. So it'll start you from there. And then we go down, manual captions. This is it. Automated captions. So make that blue, turn it on. And what that does is, let me see if I can get this back. Any individual person can decide to come in to, where's the caption one? Oh my God,
Up top.
captions. And they could turn on captions for themselves. And this will be auto captions. And I don't know, this interface is captions. Show captions. There we go. Thank you. It's going to turn the captions on here, and you can also turn a live transcript on. So when I'm multitasking, I get that live transcript on, right? And then I keep doing what I want. Go, oh, what did they say? And I go back to the live transcript. And that'll be more easy to see than it is in my view right now. Now I've got to turn this off.
Now students can turn that on.
Yeah.
I was getting a notification.
Yeah.
In the middle of lecture and
Yeah. Full transcript is what I was talking about. But now I'm going to hide the captions. So when you turn this setting on, automated captions allow you to enable automated captions in these languages in meetings. That's what allows them to do that. And that, again, is that auto captioning in a pinch. But that's just live, okay? Now, let's say you have a DRD student, or maybe one of your students has raised their hand and said, I really need captions live while you're giving the lecture, and this is not good enough. So then we go through DRD. DRD, which is the Disability Resource Department, is in charge of having live captioners in your course. And so if you have a deaf, hard of hearing student in your course, that may happen. And they'll instruct you on what you need to turn on to help the live captioner. See if we have a question about this. We can't see your Zoom interface. What did I do? Oh,
They couldn't see you selecting to turn on the caption.
oh, yeah, you couldn't see me turning that on. But if you look, there should be a captioning setting down in your navigation bar at the bottom. That should allow you to see that. But hopefully you can see when I'm turning on these features here.
And if it's not apparent on the bottom of your screen, the usual Zoom menu that's on the bottom, just click on more, the 3 dot on more, and
Then you'll see
yeah, the
captions.
captioning menu will be there.
I'll try to put a screenshot into my webpage too about that. Okay, so the other thing we want, the other option we want to turn on in Zoom is for recording. So we're still in settings on the left, and now on the top, I'm choosing recording. And now we're going to scroll down, and I want to turn on create audio transcript. That was it, right? So what that does is you're recording your Zoom lecture, and that allows the transcript. So later, and then you're giving a link to view the video, it's giving an audio transcript. That's the one, it comes up on the side. It's full of errors, but it's good in a pinch. So those are the two settings that we say about Zoom. And we already talked about somewhat about getting your videos out of Zoom. But on my page, where did I have that page over here? Okay, so I'm in distance education. I'm in web accessibility. I'm going to go into multimedia accessibility and Zoom. Okay, so there is, if you're wondering how to do it, and here's a screenshot.
Can we go back into that menu? Robert has a question about that VTT file option.
Oh, save closed caption as a VTT file.
Yeah, so we want to advise you that if you're using the Zoom captions, as a placeholder for getting better ones done through us, we would want you to mark that to save the VTT file. Captions come in SRT or .SRT or .VTT.
But we won't use that though, because didn't I say earlier, we don't want to use that file.
Yeah.
I don't know, I turn it on, but I never use that file because it's garbage. Well, it's not garbage, but it's, not accurate enough. Right. So there's a couple more in the chat. Let me see.
Oh yeah, the chat's good.
Chat's good. Okay, yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. I have it on. What that does, when you go to download your MP4, your video, you're going to get a VTT file with it. If you're not going to do anything else as far as captioning, well, then I guess it's better than nothing, but it's the least quality solution you can have for auto-generated captions. So what was I showing? I was going back here. So on my Zoom page, I have here, so I have a screenshot of what we just turned on. And I need to do a screenshot for the first one. I don't have that one. But there's a link here, or you can go to TechConnect Cloud, and there's a tutorial on how to download your Zoom recording files to upload to TechConnect Cloud. But like Matt told us earlier, hopefully soon around the corner, you won't need to do this because it will automatically happen for you. They're working on it. So that's all we have to say about Zoom. Now, I don't know how many of you want to do captioning on your own, but basically, I think it's in here. Do it yourself captioning. And I put a picture of Studio because I think it is the best. Say you have those short videos and you want to caption them, put them in Studio, request captions, and then edit them. You could do it in YouTube. You can do it in Amara, although in Amara, you're going to have to download an auto-generated file from somewhere else and upload it there.
Or type them out by hand.
Or type them out by hand. And then TechConnect Cloud, it's the same situation as Amara pretty much. But, you know, we pretty much covered this. So we have 15 more minutes. Did I cover anything that you were hoping to find out? I know it's overwhelming. You know, with the captioning world, you would think it's simple. It's not. It's really complex. What we get one day, we don't get a next, and things change and stuff. But I'm trying to simplify as much as possible. And really, the central message is come to us. We'll do it. We have lots of resources. And probably around October, you're going to have that one resource back that you can do it yourself with. And, you know, if you need counseling on where to store your videos, where to create your videos, how to create your videos, you know, we can help with that. It sounds like the chat's getting a lot of questions. Does TechConnect Cloud require you to delete your course recordings? Oops.
I'll read.
At the end of the semester? No, TechConnect Cloud does not. Alice asks about Otter AI. Otter AI, DRD has a license to that, and you can get one pretty easily where you get, I don't know, 600 minutes for free or something. And it will generate auto-generated captions. And I would say they're super high quality. They might even be slightly better than Studio. They're really, really good.
Otter AI is what powers the captioning on Zoom.
Is it? Why is it so bad in there then? I don't know.
Just to tell you, it's Otter AI.
Well, I've been given one of their licenses at a DRD, and at times when I need to, I've used it and I've been really impressed. I think it's really good. And you can get a free account. It'll give you a certain amount of minutes, and they're very generous, and it's really high quality software. So yeah, I'm trying to remember why I used it rather than all the other tools, because we use like so many tools.
We used it in a scenario in which actually is something we might want to bring up. Someone had recorded a bunch of presentations in PowerPoint, but they used the function in PowerPoint where you can record little audio clips of, you know, 1 or 2 minutes of like a short lecture over the content. And when I was working on, you know, the accessibility of these PowerPoints, I noticed these were in there, and that if someone, you know, someone who has a hearing impairment would miss that content.
Right.
So what we ended up doing was feeding those audio clips into Otter AI just to get transcripts back. We didn't need to caption, just audio only, so to speak. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for remembering it. Because we have a way with a PowerPoint where you save it out with .zip, and then it turns it into all the files, and you get to all the audio files just like that. So then I would take those audio files, drop them in Otter AI, get my transcript, and then we added the transcript back to the PowerPoint for an accessible version of the PowerPoint for someone who can't hear that content. Yeah, so you folks out there doing weird things like that, you're making our brains just really more sophisticated because we have to figure out ways to deal with them. But yeah, we did that. Okay, so Jen says, for my welcome video, I work with a script and upload that in YouTube, and YouTube does a decent job of putting it together. Yeah, that's a good point. You can take a transcript, and YouTube's really good at putting the time code in and matching it up to the video. It's like magic. I don't know how it does it, but it does it. And it matches it up. So that's a good point. Thank you. And then Alice is all happy. All right. Any other questions? I can't believe we got through everything. I felt like there was so much stuff to throw at you guys, but I think we covered it all. Yeah. So please, let's get all our videos captioned as much as possible. We're trying to be as accessible out of the box, because what that does makes the DRD people very happy, because things that aren't made accessible out of the box, then they might end up in an accommodation setting where a disabled student shows up, they go, oh, I need this. And then we got to get busy really fast. And so it has to happen fast. It tends to be expensive. And so it's a lot better if we can be accessible out of the box. One of the questions we ask you when you want us to deal with your video caption needs is how much more are you going to use that video? If you're just going to use it once that semester and not reuse it again, we'll put it in the bottom category. We might not deal with it. And I think that when it's really, ideally, we want everything captioned, but we have so much to do that we're going to want to deal with the videos that are going to definitely be reused again. Now, it's always a good idea to ask your class and say, and they don't have to have a DRD letter. They don't have to register with DRD. They could have, or they could be deaf, hard of hearing. They could have some sort of, I hate to say hearing impairment. That's not the right term anymore. But, and they may need quality captions, and they may be shy about raising their hands. And, you know, I used to teach online, and I never forget this lesson I learned. I had a student who had identified herself as needing captions. I don't know if she was deaf or hard of hearing. And I had one video in there. I was just teaching the course for one semester for faculty on sabbatical, and I was making everything as accessible as possible. And I left this one video had not been captioned, and I reached out to the student. I said, do you need this caption? And I never heard anything. So the night before the assignment was due, I get an email. It's like, this video's not captioned. And I was up till 3 a.m. captioning that video. So because I'm the accessibility person, by then I was already that person. So I knew that I had really massively screwed up. And so I dealt with it. But it's just, and this person had not gone through DRD. I had just found out about them because I was trying to interact with that student because they were having a hard time doing a certain technical task. And I kept saying, well, let's jump on Zoom and we'll do this together. And I kept getting, no, I'll wait till my roommate gets home and he'll help me. And that went on for a week or two, and the student couldn't do anything until she did this task. And finally, she revealed to me that she was deaf, hard of hearing. And so it just shows you not everybody wants to self-identify, and they shouldn't have to. And that's why we want to be as accessible as we can out of the box. Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me. I use Canvas Studio, and when I'm embedding those videos into my course, do I need to click specific settings in order to make sure that they can access the captions that have been added, or are they just in there no matter what? Because I usually don't put the, download. I don't want my students to download the videos.
Right,
I don't
right.
enable that, or the chat feature, those kinds of things that you select those.
So in Canvas Studio, there won't be any captions unless you request the auto-generated ones and then fix them or upload a file in there. Without that, there's no captions. But once there's captions in there, it's up to the user, the student, to turn them on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different part of the menu than what you're talking
They'll see an option to turn on the
Right.
captions.
Yeah, whenever the captions.
And that'll happen automatically in the class once I request the auto-generated.
Yeah, exactly. And once you publish them to the video, any class that video is linked in, the captions will not be available in all those pages.
That I feel like I can.
Yeah.
This semester, one at a time.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think we're done here, right? Go forth and make videos.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just was, I had. Have their version on here. Is there a way for me to actually be recording to?
Video.
If I just end it, then it ends the recording.